What is HPT, or Human Performance Technology? According to King and Melinda, human performance technology is an interdisciplinary field rooted in psychology, economics, neuroscience, systems theory, information technology, and organizational development. It is a relatively young field of study, only going back for the last 30 years or so. As such, there is no formalized or consensual definition for the field as of yet. In spite of this, much can be said about human performance technology. O'Driscoll commentates that HPT can be broken down into its three parts: human, referring to performers in an organizational setting; performance, referring to outputs, achievement, holding value to the stakeholder; and technology, or the application of evidence-based procedures to solve problems. O'Driscoll, along with King and Melinda, also highlight key attributes of HPT. It is systematic. This means that the HPT process moves in a step-by-step or linear fashion, which will be reflected in the model of HPT, which we'll discuss later. HPT is also systemic, meaning it looks at problems which it's intended to solve in a holistic way, viewing the problem in its entirety, including internal interactions and external connections. This is particularly important when it comes to determining a solution or intervention for the problem. HPT is grounded in scientifically derived theories and empirical evidence. Marilyn Gilbert, in her discussion of HPT, points out that common sense is often at odds with performance interventions. This is seen in many corporate or business environments where common sense is used to determine solutions for performance problems. Many times these solutions end up failing because they are not grounded in evidence-based procedures. HPT is open to all means, methods, and media. O'Driscoll points to the origins of HPT in instructional design, which is closely related. However, a key difference is that instructional design frequently looks for training or instruction to be the solution to a performance gap. O'Driscoll points out that performance discrepancies can almost never be solved by instruction alone. This means the HPT practitioner will look for any and all possible solutions to a problem. Lastly, HPT is focused on value and achievements. This is reflected again by Gilbert, pointing out that without any change in performance, there is no value in the technique. The HPT model, as described by O'Driscoll, presents four distinct steps in its process, very similar to the ADDIE model seen in many instructional design processes. The first step, analysis, can be broken up into multiple sub-steps, which will be discussed shortly. Then you have intervention, selection, and design, in which a potential solution to the identified problem is selected and applied to the specific business model. Implementation is the actual engagement of the intervention in the business environment. Evaluate, much the same as in the ADDIE process, represents not only a final step of the HPT model, but also a sub-step for each of the previous portions, as practitioners will evaluate each step as they go along. Here's an illustration of the HPT model expanded by Pemberton, Hoskins, and Beninti. Each section or step in the model can be expanded, such as analysis, which reviews the organizational analysis, the environmental analysis, the cause analysis, leading to the selection of the interventions. The intervention again represents the solution selected for the specific problem identified. Implementation results in the actual application of the solution to the environment. And as illustrated in this model, evaluation takes place throughout the process in an iterative fashion, such as is seen in the ADDIE model. As has been discussed, HPT, or Human Performance Technology, while difficult to specifically define, represents a process whereby problems in performance can be identified, potential solutions can be implemented, and the results can be evaluated in a fashion that will lead to actual observable and measurable performance in the organization.